Hello everyone, you're welcome once again to the Bolaji Jegede show, the greatest show on global TV. Today I'll be talking about a topic that I consider a very serious and urgent matter. And the topic for today will be the Nigerian graduates. Are they really employable? I came up with this topic because of certain experiences that I had in the recent weeks. And that made me to say to myself, there is a need to discuss this issue on the show. I remember when I started working in the oil and gas industry, before I began my own private personal business, I worked for at least 5 years in the industry. And I can recall that I spent about 4 years in the first assignment. And at those times, I was really willing to learn, willing to work, willing to do what the organization needed to do to excel. And I did them with a lot of integrity, a lot of zeal and passion. But what I'm experiencing recently with the kind of graduates that we have now, it's worrisome. And that made me say to myself, let's discuss this issue on the show. And I'll share very quickly a few things that happened in my organization in the last couple of weeks. I started recruiting people, and I think I've had about almost 30 staff. And about 3 weeks ago, I had to dismiss about 12 people in one day, bordering around issues of theft. The following week again, I had a staff that I had just taken on by recommendation of a friend, and he had spent only about 11 days, and then he began to really behave in a very disrespectful manner, and I had to let him go also. As though like a demon-possessed human being, he had infected a few other people with very funny behaviors. And then you see another one come up just last week to say, well, this person also had spent just a month plus in the organization, and he came saying, well, he wants to go somewhere else. He seems to have a better offer now, and he just wants to leave. And I said to him, you have a contract, don't you? He said, yes. What does your contract say? Your contract says you need to give at least 2 weeks notice because you are still on probation. And he says to me, well, I'm just leaving, I'm leaving. And I said to him, okay, you can leave. 2 days after, another person whom I had trained for about 2 months, expecting him to begin to train other people in one of the softwares that we train young people in, comes up and says, actually, he's supposed to start training people tomorrow Monday, and he comes to me on Friday and says he wants to leave. And I said to him, you've been trained for the past 2 months, you have not given anything back to the company, and you just want to leave. You're supposed to start training people on Monday. So what is the value that you have brought to the organization? And he says, well, you just want to leave. What's in your contract? You're supposed to give 2 weeks notice. Well, but I've told you I want to leave. And this worries me. These are all young people. These are all fresh graduates who've never worked before. And it bothers me because this is a chain reaction, and that employers are having problems with all over the place. And that's one of the reasons why everywhere you go, you see employers saying Nigerian graduates are not employable. I used to be of a different opinion, But with all the experience that I'm now getting personally, then I began to actually understand the frustrations of employers when they say these things. And I began to wonder what is really going on. And I have to pray about it, because everything I do with my organization, I make sure I pray very well about it. And it's interesting actually that before I actually employ people, I pray about it. And when God says to me, you can employ this person, I actually then go ahead and do it. It's interesting because all these people actually are also people that God had approved that I could employ, and I'm now misbehaving. So I had to go back to God to say, well, I'm surprised. Why are these people behaving this way? You approved and sanctioned their employment. So why are they behaving in this manner? And then the Holy Spirit began to tell me that, look, Bolaji, this is a huge problem that you actually have to address. It has nothing really to do with these people, because some of them are actually genuinely stupid. And it's a series of problems that needs to be solved holistically. Because he said to me that these are the people you have on ground. But I cannot work with this kind of people, especially as we move into the era of Vision 2025 that will be launched in January 2015. And he says to me, there is a need for a reorientation of the people, because he cannot work with this kind of people to bring Nigeria to where Nigeria has to be by 2025, where God has been speaking about Nigeria being the greatest place to live in the world. And that there's a need for a shift in mentality, a shift in orientation, and a restructuring of the mind of the people. And so basically, I had to go into prayers, and God began to talk to me about the root cause of all these things, and the need to put that root cause out there for everyone to understand, and people to begin to reposition their mind as we move into 2015, in the run-up to these 10 years of glory for Nigeria. And so what are these problems that we need to address, and what are the solutions? I've identified 6 problems, and also I'll be providing the 6 solutions that needs to be immediately addressed, so that we can have the best people who would be able to work with God in this Vision 2025 agenda. The first problem is the bad educational system. Now, we have an educational system in Nigeria which does not put any emphasis on entrepreneurship, does not put much emphasis on ethics, morals. And so when students graduate, they have all these problems when they get to the workplace. And that's what I'm seeing in my organization today. So we need to restructure the educational system, particularly in the universities, so that students can not just do programs in entrepreneurship, students will also be able to do programs in business administration. So people in engineering, for example, will have electives, for example, in entrepreneurship, and some elements of business administration, morals, and ethics. And so when this kind of behaviors, when this kind of mindsets have been put into use from the universities, it's very easy for students to graduate and then be responsible citizens. Now, problem number 2 is the bad value system that we have in this country. We have a value system that puts so much emphasis on money, money, money. So you have graduates who come out with this money, money mentality. The highest bidder wins. That's a very terrible thing when a young person who's supposed to seek to expand his horizons at a very young age begins to concentrate at that point on money. So for example, one of the graduates who just left or who are just asked to leave my organization, who is on 50,000 naira per month, hasn't even spent 1 month yet, says he has another offer. Perhaps he got another offer of 55,000. And he leaves unethically. Unfortunately for him, he didn't even know that I just secured an agreement with one of my Chinese partners, and I was planning to send him to China on that training. He was supposed to go for training in October, and now he leaves at the end of September. So that valuable training he has lost because he's only thinking about the little increase in salaries getting somewhere else. So it becomes very important that as a society, we de-emphasize money as a sign of achievement or as a sign of social class, if you will. It becomes more important that we have a system that rewards people with medals rather than money. There needs to be a balance, however, but it is very important that we de-emphasize money as a means of, as a reward system, if you will. Number 3, you have people who want to earn but not learn, and that's a very big problem. I have another staff who are just suspended, who would come to work and you always see him playing with his phone. And severally, I will say to him, I don't want to see you doing that anymore. And as if he's only waiting for me to leave, a few minutes later, you find him doing the same thing. But at the end of the month, they're very eager to get their pay. So you have graduates, you have young people who just want to earn money, but they don't want to learn anything new. That's a very big problem. And it's very important that each graduate, each young person goes on a journey of self-discovery and a need, a zeal for knowledge. That's what you need as a young person. That's what you need as a young Nigerian who will be useful in this Vision 2025 agenda. That's what you need to do to discover yourself and to seek to learn as much as you can while you're young. There will be no place for lazy people in Vision 2025. When it's launched in January, there will be rules. Those qualities, you cannot be on this team. So it's important that you discover yourself. Number 4, lack of focus in life has plagued the life of so many young people in Nigeria. You can see young people who would discuss explosively, convincingly about all English Premiership games. They know all La Liga players. They will watch Rafael Nadal, 3 hours match, Wimbledon. But they cannot devote any time to learn things that will improve their lives and their learnings. Lack of focus in life. And what then should be the solution to this? I think it's very important that the Nigerian education system from the secondary school level should incorporate effectively guidance and counseling. It is important that we counsel our young people from secondary school through to university. That has collapsed totally in this country. There is no guidance, there is no counseling of any form, and even churches and religious organizations are not doing anything very meaningful about guiding these young people. That is very important, that we enact guidance and counseling from secondary through to university levels. Number 5, bad parenting. Parents have become the source of the problems and downfall of many young, bright, enterprising people. So you see parents who force kids against their giftings to do their desires. I have a young person who talked to me recently and expressed her frustration how her mother wanted her to be a lawyer when she really didn't want to be one. And now she feels so bad with herself, she feels she's a failure, and she's just trying to pick pieces of her life together. It's important that parents stop this attitude of forcing their young people, young children, to do their will. It is important that parents, going forward, identify the talents of their young ones, their kids, and help them to bring out these talents and become something that will be useful to them. Number 6 is the lack of recruitment strategies on the part of employers. Today in Nigeria, you see a banking industry employ a BSc Agric, BSc Zoology, they're in the banks. You see organizations just bringing people because they need people who don't have zeal for those kind of jobs, people who have passion for those kind of jobs are the kind of people they recruit. And so, I mean, the saying goes, garbage in, garbage out. So employers are frustrated because the frustration is of their own making. So it becomes very important that an employer should strategically recruit people who have passion for the kind of business that you want to recruit them to do. And that way, you can have employees who are committed. And again, another thing that I'll be proposing to employers is to have 1 month training at the beginning of any employee's career in the organization, where the employee is not paid anything, perhaps just stipend, but during that 1 month, the employee is taught things like business administration, business financing, ethics, morals, teamwork, personal effectiveness. And those are all the qualities that people need to have during their work life, because work is very different from academics. For the most part, 97% of what you learn in the university is not applied in the workplace. So the workplace is a totally new environment, and employers need to get these people, young people, into that mood and not just bring them in and start training and getting them to work. It doesn't work at all. The last thing is bad governance. It's important for the government of Nigeria to put in infrastructure, roads, healthcare, security, and everything that we need as young people to have good aspiration. Power needs to be there, so that young people can then begin to discover themselves and use the resources to better their lives. With these 7 identified problems and their solutions, I believe that we should begin to move towards a greater Nigeria as we launch Vision 2025. Thank you very much, and that's our show for today. Until we meet again on the next episode of Bolaji Jegede Show. Stay blessed. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.